Hey you guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I posted literally a single video, but you guys have to forgive me. I was finishing off my uni degree and with COVID, working in a hospital was unbelievably stressful and I had nowhere to film. Literally, I had nowhere to film. So you wouldn't have wanted the content I was trying to get to you anyway. Today's video, I am so freaking excited to bring to you, and it is because it hits home so hard. And I think it's about something that people really need to know more information about. Understanding that body types don't mean being unhealthy, and also that there are so many contributing factors to why some people have one body type and some people have another. So the reason that this kind of clocked onto my radar was because I have always weighed quite a lot on the scales, but I've never really felt what that weight suggests me to be. My BMI classes me as overweight. Now, I want to give you my stats, and the reason I want to give these to you is because I want you to know that I'm in your boat. This is why I'm making this video, and it made me feel so crap when I found out how high my BMI was. I'm currently on a weight loss journey because COVID demolished my waistline. I am halfway through my fitness journey now, and I have broken my foot. It is actually a broken toe, but it's the bone in the foot. Tis very painful. I have just lost 6.5 kilos. Now, to me, I'm so happy that I've done that, but for my own confidence, I want to get back to my old body weight to feel good about myself and feel, like great about where I am in my life. And the weight I'm aiming for will actually only just put me in the normal category for BMI. My BMI currently classes as overweight at 26.4. And then two of the things that we're going to talk about later is my visceral fat number, and my visceral score is 8. And then my body fat percentage is 20, which I was trying to say, but guys, I'm still getting used to filming again. It's all over the place. So I actually fall into the athletic category. So that, for one, tells you something. I fall into the athletic body fat percentage, but my BMI is overweight. So, girl, we're gonna get into this video and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Before we go any further, BMI is basically the weight that you should be taking into consideration your height. So it's your weight divided by your height squared, I think. But now let's move on to you guys and why you are here. And let's talk about the reasons that you might be finding that when you step on the scales, it's not representing what you feel you are. Here's the first problem that we come up against when we're talking about BMI, which stands for body mass index. When you search reasons for high BMI, the first 3 things that come up are physical inactivity, overeating, and genetics, and so much more, like eating the wrong carbs and like eating too many calories in a day, things like that.
And the problem with this is that it makes people who are heavy on the scales feel like that means they're obese because their BMI is putting them in an obese category. But that's not necessarily the truth.
But here's the definition for obesity. Obesity is defined as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. I in no way have fat that is currently risking my health. That's what obesity is. But you can have a high BMI and not be obese. Let's jump on into our first reason. Our first reason is water retention. So this one is probably the weakest reason that I'm going to talk about today, but it might actually just be really specific to you. Water retention can cause a massive difference in weight. I'm talking 2 or 3 kilos of weight. So if your BMI score is around 25, 26, 27, you might find that you would be in the normal range if you weren't holding on to so much water. So let's talk about water retention quickly. It's a bit backwards. If you want to get rid of water retention, you have to give your body more water. Your body is holding on to water, causing water retention because it is worried that it's not going to get enough water, or because it has too much salt or alcohol, and so it's holding on to that water ready so that it can do its job properly. So I personally, when I broke my foot, came off caffeine for a week, and it was kind of accidental, but equally I do like to do it sometimes. First off, to kind of challenge myself. Second off, to make sure that I'm not completely dependent on it. And also I find that after a week or 2 off caffeine, I enjoy caffeine a lot more. It does a lot more for me for the coming months. The first thing I would say is maybe cut out caffeine, because caffeine is going to make you retain water. If you don't want to cut out caffeine, cut out alcohol. It is unbelievable how much water you have to drink in order to make up for 1 glass of wine. I'm talking over 2 litres of water. So if you think about a night of drinking, yeah, you can rehydrate and that's fine, but your body was in a water retentive state and it wasn't very happy whilst it was doing it. The next thing you can do, especially if you don't want to give up alcohol or caffeine, is not not eat 3 to 4 hours before bed. Focus on your hydration and weigh yourself only once, and weigh yourself in the morning after you've been to the toilet. So what you really want to aim for is your main digestion to be over before you even go to bed. That means no snacking. It doesn't even have to be classed as intermittent fasting if you don't want it to, but if you want to know more about intermittent fasting, you can head on over to that video. That is actually, I think, one of my best videos. So jump on over if you want to know more about that. But not about intermittent fasting in general. Just think about giving your digestive system a fighting chance in the aim to not only lose weight, but find out your actual weight. So what I would do if you wanted an actual weight is not do alcohol or caffeine for a week and not eat 3 to 4 hours before bed for a week. Stay really hydrated, go to the toilet, weigh yourself in the morning. Reason number 2 is increase muscle mass. As I said before, my muscle mass is pretty flippin' high, but I promise you when you look at my body, you cannot see it. Like, I personally think I look quite flabby. Really, that's a mental thing. I need to work on my own perception of what I look like. So I really do recommend that you take some time to meditate, self-reflect, and try and compliment yourself 3 times a day. And you should love every single transformation photo you take, because you are beautiful, and you need to realize it. You need to stop picking out your flaws because you're so gorgeous. Let's move on. So you probably know that muscle is heavier than fat, but how much heavier? Well, it's denser, so it's difficult. It's about what they weigh in terms of their area. So if we were to compare a litre of muscle and a litre of fat, the muscle would weigh 1.06 kilos, which is also 2.3 pounds, and the litre of fat would weigh 0.9 kilos, which is also 1.98 pounds. So that's muscle mass, and yes, I do think I have a lot of muscle mass, and that's what drives up my weight, but then you also have to take into consideration my fat. Could I actually have less fat? And most of the time the answer is going to be yes. For me, my subcutaneous fat is quite low. It's like 18%. So subcutaneous fat isn't really my issue. But the other thing about muscle mass is that it's really important to take into consideration when you're calculating your calories. If you're trying to calculate a calorie deficit, you need more calories to maintain the muscle you have than you do if it's fat. So 2 people who weigh the exact same weight, but one has 20% body fat and one has 25% body fat, the person with 20% body fat is going to need more calories to maintain their weight because you need more calories to maintain that muscle. They have an Arbo leaf scales. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape or form, but I do find that they're great, and I find that they're great for one reason. I am now able to think about my workout plan, my calorie deficit, my protein needs in such a more educated way about myself, specifically to me, because all of that information out there, I'm not going to lie to you ladies, so much of it is for men. Like I said earlier, we have a whole different organ set, so they're not even taking that into consideration. It's just like, come on. That brings me on to my third and I think most important point, because this one can be dangerous if you don't know you have it, and that is visceral fat. Visceral fat is defined as the fat that wraps around your abdomen organs deep inside your body. And it's also the reason for the term skinny fat, which I'm sure some of you have heard. Skinny fat is basically people who look skinny but are actually fat. Fat being the term because you can't see visceral fat, you can't necessarily feel visceral fat, but it's there, it still weighs something, and it increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, breast cancer, type 2 diabetes, so many more, because it puts stress on your organs, and it's so important to lower that number. So my visceral number is 8, but I personally would like it to be lower than that. Again, no idea what unit it is. If you know, drop it in the comment section below because I am stumped. But I do want to lose visceral fat because I'm in the acceptable and I want to be in the good bracket. And one of the things that I have read studies on is that alcohol can definitely increase your visceral fat. And here's why. Not only does it suppress your testosterone, which changes the way that your body processes fat, but it also causes a harboring of calories that have no nutritional value. Because there's no nutritional value in an alcoholic beverage, but they can be about 7 calories per meal. Like a gin and tonic is like 200 calories. So you need to think your body's getting no nutrition, so it gets calories and it doesn't know what to do with it. Plus, you're drunk, so your liver is under duress and your blood system is poisoned, so nothing is truly functioning or firing on all cylinders. It doesn't really know what it's doing. So it's so important in order to make sure that you are coping with that. Instead of drinking regularly, maybe drink once a week. Or if you drink more regularly, that's fine. Just have those stints where you don't drink alcohol because your body needs time to recover, and then you can do good exercise. And cardio is a great one, and I'll tell you why. Cardio is a great great one because it increases circulation. And this muscle is so deep inside your system, wrapped around your organs. You need good circulation for your body to pull from that. And I personally was doing quite a lot of work and I was thinking, why am I not seeing more muscle, say, on my abdomen? Why am I not seeing more muscle definition in my legs? If I have all this muscle, why the hell can't I see it? And I think it's because even though I have low subcutaneous fat, right now I'm at this weird point where I can't burn that last bit of subcutaneous fat to see the muscle because I have visceral fat to spare. So I'm hoping that I can burn that visceral fat and become a healthier version of myself with lower chances of these diseases, and then move on to burning more subcutaneous fat to have a more toned physique, which is my overall goal. But the reason that visceral fat is so important in terms of your number on your scale is because it still weighs something, guys. It still weighs something and you can't see it and you can't feel it. So you're fitting into these lovely jeans, that skirt you absolutely love, and then you step on a scales and it's like, you're overweight. Well, maybe it's your life choices. Maybe it's the excessive salt that you eat. Maybe it's the excessive non-complex carbohydrates. I'm talking about crisps. I'm talking about snacks. I'm talking about all of those things that aren't good for you. Go eat your veggies. Go eat your chicken. Go eat your lean meats and do whatever you can in order to give your body a healthy lifestyle, because visceral fat is not only going to weigh more, it might be detrimental to your future. They were the 3 things that I really wanted to touch upon today. One of those 3 things is probably more than likely what's causing your weight on your scales to be higher than it is. Now, what I would say about weighing yourself as a woman is that it's just a bit crap. It just is. We go through a cycle every month, and the difference in that cycle, in different points where you weigh yourself, if you're the exact same build of muscle, fat, bone, water, every level, every meal, if it was all the exact same, there is a 3 to 5 pound difference on the scales, which is 1.3 to 2.2 kilos. That is so much weight, and every bloody thing out there is tailored to comparing your weight from the week before or comparing your weight from the month before. What you really should be doing, and I'm making a whole other video series on this, is tracking your weight to your cycle. So what I suggest you do instead is measure yourself with a tape measure every 2 weeks. So you're going to step on the scales and you may have gone up in weight, but you may be more toned. You may feel that your clothes feel better, but that number keeps running around in your head, because I know what the number on the scales can do. It can mess with you and make you feel so unbelievably crap. There are so many factors to take into consideration. So it's so easy to do. Hop onto Google, have a look at the different ways to measure your body. So I would do bust, under bust, waist, hips. I do bum because my ass is ginormous. And then I do hips and arms. You need to kind of remember how you did it, because if you're tensing or standing a different way, you're going to have a different expansion. And then just note that down, because that number on the scales might not change, but you might be a whole centimetre smaller in an area of your body. And isn't that at the end of the day what this is about? So I really hope this video gave you the ability and the tools to rethink how you think about yourself when you look in the mirror, and maybe that there is an actual reason as to why the scales are saying something that you don't feel, you don't identify with, and your clothes don't tell you. I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions about anything that I've said, please drop them in the comment section below. Also, if you have anything else that is educational, that's going to help someone watching this video, drop it in the comment section below. It's all about sharing knowledge, it's all about learning from each other, and it's all about building each other up. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you jump on down to that subscribe button, and you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Scribbles by Alicia, and I will see you next week. It was so good to be back, you guys. I have missed this so much. Have a great day. Bye!